But on a colours night dedicated to superheroes, how can I stand here before you and pick fault with any one of you? For instance, how can anyone criticise the superhuman effort that it must have taken for Adam Green to eat that biscuit on the bus to Salou? I have loved my time as Vice President Student Activities. I've met so many interesting people, and every day brings a new challenge. Every day something happens that surprises me. For instance, who would have ever thought that Sophie Lyon would become a lesbian? I was accused of being a sexist on Facebook for defending the rights of women to be able to bare their breasts in order to sell more varsity tickets. What people don't know is that I was really just defending the rights of the men of the AU, just to look at them. There's a hero in all of us, even the quiet ones. They always say that it's those that you should look out for. James Morey, serial Facebook stalker. Looking back throughout the year, there are a series of events that stand out in my mind. Way back before Christmas, when we had the Naked Calendar, which was not only an excellent fundraiser, but it gave us a chance to bond with our new teammates, and it also allowed some of you to lose some inhibitions. That's right, Lydia Rickards, I've seen your tits. But what was apparent while we were making the Naked Calendar is how different every team was. Each sports team and each society had its own unique characteristics and its quirks. Everyone had an inside joke, a token member of the team who was just late or completely forgot. Or they had someone in their team who was the bossy one or the funny one. Each society was just like a family, only stark, bollock, naked. But my mum always used to tell me when we were growing up, everyone's the same underneath, and I think that could stand true to all of us in this room. No matter what team you play for, we're all the same. We're all DMU. We're all the same underneath. Well, most of us. Some of you are just really fucking hairy. Before I continue, I'd just like to say to the squash... So is men's football varsity. Before I continue, I'd just like to say to the squash team, if they're here today, I don't give a shit how much is in your account, the same as last week. Anyway, moving on. After the calendar, some of us were lucky enough to go to Amsterdam. That really was eye-opening. If anyone ever gets the opportunity to walk through a red light district with Scott Wood, it's an absolute privilege. The line... My favourite line from Scott while we were in Amsterdam was hearing him say to a young lady in a window, £50 for a blowjob. Round the corner, the woman offered me everything for that much. Scott, that will stay with me forever. Amsterdam also gave me another opportunity. It gave me another opportunity to meet... It gave me another opportunity to meet new students and also bond with my new workmates. Well, some of them. Amy Seabrook. She managed to fall asleep by the time we managed to reach Foss Park. She then proceeded to sleep all the way down to Dover and all the way from Calais to Belgium. But luckily for me, Amy woke up an hour outside Amsterdam to relieve me so that I could have some sleep. I got 27 minutes. Mind you, even that wasn't as bad as when I woke up to the sound of Amy throwing up in Salou. She was possibly the only girl on tour. She was possibly the only... Amy was perhaps the only girl that morning who gagged more than Antonia Frampton on tour. So it got to Christmas time. And we looked into the possibility of having a nativity-themed play. Netball had provided us with a baby. the Debate and Innovation Society that provided us with the wise men, and we'd even got Ross lined up to play Joseph, but we simply couldn't find any virgins. Mainly because Katie McLachlan had slept with them all. So, Freshers Week's over, the Naked Calendar's over, Amsterdam's over, it's halfway, we're at half time. Now, if my name was Ross Thacker, that's where I'd stop playing. The second half of the year, that's when things are supposed to settle down. But not this year. If anything, things got more crazy. Leslie Caswell's caused a storm by trying to sleep with the entire of the DMU Saints. He's possibly the only man who's had his hand up more cheerleaders than Stephen Penn. And then, back to my favourite netballers. It kicked off big style on a rag trip when Lynette Williams punched a black lady for refusing to give up her seat on a bus. Just thought I'd throw that out. Then what happened? Ian Jones pooed himself in the union. And the night after, his lovely girlfriend completed their application for DMU's most disgusting couple by paddling in a pool of her own wee. I believe that now stands in at number 24 of the 50 things that UCAS didn't tell you about university. January started with Rag Week, which was a huge success, raising over £2,000. Now, I know what you're all thinking. You're all thinking, Liam, shut up about Rag, nobody cares. But I'd like to take a minute just to say a few thank yous. This year, Rag has raised in excess of £10,000, and I'd like to say a quick thank you to the committee. Thomas Norman, Lynette Williams, and Kirsten Forward, for which none of what we've achieved would have been possible. I'd also like to say a few thank yous to the Student Union staff, who recognised that Rag was one of my passions, and they allowed me to make sure that it could grow and develop. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to people in this room, for people who've donated time and money to Rag. And I'd like to say thank you on behalf of our charities, Rainbow's Children's Hospice, Great Ormond Children's Street Hospital, Movember, Comic Relief, Breast Cancer Awareness, Pakistan Earthquake Appeal, UNICEF, Leicester Aid Support Service, and Terrace Higgins Trust. Thank you. The final part of the year saw a few big events. Loads of you took part in Escape and Evade, and I spent 2 entire days sat in a pub on my own, all in the name of charity. What can I say? There are worse jobs in the world. Quite soon after came Comic Relief, which saw the Gateway Boys belt out a classic, along with 2 other rugby boys who were equally impressive. But a big thanks must go out to men's football and the ladies who got involved in Blind Date. And a special mention, if she's in tonight, Miranda Mills. Curtis has just sat down there. The next big event was Sports Tour. I won't go into too much detail about Sports Tour, as you've heard all the stories and tales by now. But I would like to run down the highlights and lowlights of my tour. After promising in my first year to never ever go drinking with rugby again, I failed in glorious style. Just in an attempt to not be that guy. Thank you to netball for looking after me that night. My drunkenness can only be attributed to Mr. Sticky Fingers himself, Alex Iwanu. Staying with rugby, Scott Evans. Scott Evans. Can you remember that time when you farted and a piece of shit came out? Joe Parr. 2 biscuits rolling down a hill. One says to the other, "Where do you live?" The other says, "I'm not telling you, you'll steal my washing." My time with hockey. The highlights must have been the rat. The lowlights was probably finding a gremlin drawn on my penis the next morning. Seeing Graham Squire pick up an injury, playing keepy-uppy, an insight into the world's most sickliest man. Ellis Woodley, no matter how many times you offer to blow me, it doesn't prove that you're not a lesbian. And finally, how can I mention Sports Talk without mentioning possibly my favourite story? It was 2:30 and I got a knock on my door. I was told that Lloyd Pennell had been arrested. Why has he been arrested, I said. Because he was making his penis look like a cheeseburger and showing a policeman, and he didn't take kindly to it. I can just to confirm, it was actually the inverted testicle trick that got him arrested. My favourite Lloyd Pennell quote from the whole penis fiasco was when he turned to me after bailing him out and he said, "Thanks for bailing me out, Liam. I did think for a moment, at the back of the van, that they were just going to drive me out to a desert and put a bullet through my brain." Law and order from Lloyd Pennell. So that's about it. That's my quick roundup. I'll be at the bar all night, so do feel free to come and say hi or bye. It's been a privilege to have been involved with the sports teams, societies and the media groups this year. I look forward to being part of the union again next year as your president, and thank you for your support and continued trust, and I hope that I can continue to repay the faith you have shown me as your election officer this year. For those of you that are leaving tonight, enjoy it. Good luck for the future, and look back on your time here at DMU with fondness. Use the experience gained to achieve all you want to do. Stay in touch with your friends, and don't forget us. Associate memberships cost £20. Ask Kevin Jones for details. On a final note, can I just ask that everybody gives a large round of applause to Ross and Jackie, who have put in hours of hard work to make not only tonight possible, but the hours of hard work every week just to ensure that you are able to run your teams and societies as smoothly as possible. They really are an asset to DSU, and they're often overlooked and not given enough credit for the amazing work that they do. Thank you. Can I have Ross on the stage? We're now going to do the awards for the societies.